All right, welcome back. So we've started off this morning making the case that great leaders are great actors, actresses in a way. We've defined leadership as the art of getting people to want to do what must be done. We've identified a number of different characteristics, attributes of great leaders, particularly in business. And we've identified 6 roles that business leaders find themselves in on a daily basis. Okay. All right, let me pick up, let me go back to my PowerPoint presentation here. This was interesting. There was a group of business leaders. They were asked the following question. Do you feel more comfortable sitting in traffic, like rush hour traffic, or sitting in a burning building? 15 CEOs, all of them in unison said, I'd rather be in a burning building. About that for a moment. Choice means sitting in Houston traffic or in a burning building. I'd rather be in a burning building. And all I can think is, a burning building, we would figure a way out, right? Traffic, how frustrating is it to feel like you're stuck and can't get out versus figuring out a way to exit or figuring out a way to get out. Which would you prefer? So one of my favorite authors is Malcolm Gladwell, written a number of best-selling books. One of those books is a book called Outliers. In the book Outliers, Gladwell was curious how an outlier is someone who is the very best at what they do. The best, Tiger Woods is an outlier as a golfer. The best pianist, the best skier. We just got done seeing the Olympics and we saw all of the Olympians are outliers. Well, Gladwell was curious, how does someone become an outlier? How does someone go from being a good golfer to a great golfer, a good driver to a great driver? So he studied outliers, studied the very best. And what he found is that they had essentially 3 things that drove them to become outliers. Number 1 was IQ. All of them had IQs higher than 120. So got to be somewhat smart to become an outlier, in business, to become a great business leader. Got to have some smarts. The second thing he found was they all claimed to have great timing. In fact, when he asked them, how did you become so good at what you do? One of the most common answers was, I was lucky. I was lucky. Well, what Gladwell suggests is that luck is essentially being in the right place at the right time and leveraging that opportunity, because he argues that we're all lucky to some extent. But the difference between the good people and the outliers is the outliers know how to take advantage of their timing, take advantage of their luck. He interviewed Bill Gates, and Bill Gates said, I was just lucky. I was a techie at a time when technology was just taking off, but certainly his success was much more than just timing. So think about this in your own situation. To what degree are you leveraging your luck? To what degree are you leveraging your timing as a business leader? And then the third thing he found that made these outliers was practice. And maybe you've heard this before. He suggested that on average, the outliers spent 20,000 or 10,000 hours of practice to become an outlier. So if you want to become an amazing golfer, 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours, that's doing something full-time for about 5 years or part-time for about 10 years to become an outlier. Well, my question to you then is, how much time are each of you spending practicing to become a great leader? not doing, because we know there's a difference between practicing and doing. How much time are each of you spending practicing to become a great leader? I would argue this program or programs like this are an effort in practicing, learning, growing. Yeah. How much time are you allotting for your own growth in terms of practice? I think of professional sports, whether it's a football player, basketball player, tennis player, how much time they devote to practice. Professional football players, they're in camp right now practicing to play football come Labor Day weekend. They're the elite of the elite in terms of football players, and yet they're practicing day in, day out, sometimes multiple times a day. How much time are you spending practicing to become a better leader?